What? How is this even possible? What, do you want me to buy another loot crate for the possibility to win? This is rigged. Thank you, finally! That totally didn't take 15 tries or anything, such a rigged game. Anyway, Nickelodeon wants you to play sports really bad. Also plug in my Discord. So straight from the NFL website reads as so. The league announced NBC and CBS would broadcast the additional wildcard games. NFL wildcard weekend will include 3 games, Saturday, January 19th, and another 3 games Sunday, January 10th. In addition to CBS's extra broadcast on January 9th, which also will be carried via a live stream on CBS All Access, the NFL noted a separately produced telecast of the game will air on Nickelodeon tailored for a younger audience. We don't exactly know what tailored for a young audience means. It can mean anything from them diving more into the sport in a kid-friendly way, or having NFL players get slimed because kids would totally become football players if random dudes are sloshed with green glue.
Look at how cool that looks! Wait, I'm gonna go back to this side!
You know what? Never mind. So you're probably wondering, why would they broadcast on Nickelodeon of all places? Why do they feel the need to do this now? According to Yahoo Sports, it reads as so. The youth demographic is very important. There are plenty of young fans, and we want to continue to bring the game to the young fans. NFL Executive Vice President Brian Rolapp told reporters on a conference call Tuesday. So just looking at it on a surface level, the NFL would like to make sure that the next generation grows up enjoying football, which is completely fair. Football, among other sports, are great ways to get kids active, and with team sports, you can learn to be a team player and not lock yourself in a room under the covers watching me on the phone, or even worse, the toilet. However, this is just the same company that not too long ago, when the perfect PR pass was thrown to them, just do something nice for the creator of SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg, and dedicate Band Geeks in some way during the halftime show. They fumbled it, not by doing nothing, but with what little they did. Some would call it sick. And not too long ago, I was one of those people who thought they were thinking rationally. Guys, the NFL and SpongeBob may not have that big of a crossover audience to dedicate the halftime show to. We're talking about football fans and animation fans. Yes, there's a crossover, but enough to put that much time into? Well, don't I feel stupid? Just slap a dunce hat on me and call me Vicky, because the NFL actually thinks there is a crossover audience. Now, we don't know why beyond the young demographic is important, and we don't even know how they're implementing it. But we know that NFL and Nickelodeon have worked together before, like when they made a cartoon.
32 NFL teams, the power of each embodied in their megacore. In the wrong hands, this energy could threaten our very existence. The safety of the world depends on an unlikely group of heroes.
Apparently it had 3 seasons, despite the NFL Rush YouTube page listing the season 2 premiere as the first episode. I took a watch and I gotta say, I may be in the minority, but coming from the perspective of someone who's not too much into football, this seems very mediocre. Despite NFL and Viacom having more money than I'll ever have in 100 lifetimes, the animation looks really bad. And despite being both an action show and a sports show, you would think that these 2 genres, known for being very fast-paced, you would make it look great.
I'll tell you where I'm gonna go. Dodgeball! Get him!
Come on, you guys.
You'd make it not look awful, even for 2010 standards. Need I remind you of the stuff that was coming out then? This isn't Sally New Pants' idea that's being funded through GoFundMe, where the quality is a variable of the resources handled. These 2 corporate giants knew that they didn't have to allocate too much resources to their cartoon. And I have no recollection of this show either, beyond an occasional advertisement for Nicktoons. Let's be very frank here. I don't think the NFL is creating a children's animation division anytime soon. They didn't do this because they grew up wanting to make a cartoon. This was made to keep the NFL in children's minds, which there's nothing wrong with, but I doubt putting in the least amount of effort is gonna work. This show, from a first impression, looks like it could be a decent action show, but unfortunately is washed down with the Nickisms and forced sports conversations that'll drag anyone who's not a fan of NFL from watching this. And that doesn't appear to be what they want.
My mom's gonna kill me if I don't start mashing the potatoes.
What are you doing?
The mashed potato? It was huge back in the day. Like when the Browns ruled, Paul Brown coaching, Jim Brown at fullback, Frank Ryan at QB.
Do us a solid and keep your moves on the field, not the dance floor.
Wait, what? I think you mean keep your moves on the dance floor and off the field. He's on the field with his moves, so why would you? Oh, okay, I've seen enough. Anyway, Twitter had a field day with this one. Okay, one of the playoff games added to the NFL calendar this year will be simulcast on Nickelodeon.
Okay, let's have a good, clean fight.
And may the better man win. He's nothing but a lying, boneless, ink-squirting, big-nosed phony.
Look at that buck-toothed, corn-fed smile. You can't trust him as far as you can throw.
Yeah, pretty accurate from what I see. 6 ways the NFL playoff game on Nickelodeon can become the must-watch event of the decade. Yes, this is actually happening. This is so real, guys. Number 1, SpongeBob and Patrick as commentators. I already think this list is wrong. I want Plankton and Squidward to be commentators. Then I'll watch a full game. I'll even review it. And I'm putting my word on that. Alright, number 2, replace all football sounds with cartoon noises. I don't know about that. Maybe like the live action replay. And yes, I am taking this list seriously. Number 3, switch the Gatorade bucket with slime. No way. Number 6, make the halftime show Sweet Victory. Goes without saying? Really? Actually, we said it multiple times, and they did seemingly nothing. However, I feel like the core reason as to why Nickelodeon would want to work with the NFL in the first place is something a little bit deeper. They've been on a giant kick sport since, well, really the 90s. However, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't start earlier. You have Nickelodeon Games and Sports for Kids, or Nickelodeon Gas.
Hi, I'm Kerry Kills of the New Jersey Nets, and you're watching Nick Gas, Games and Sports for Kids.
You may think the game stands for video games, and this was Nickelodeon's early pioneer move of showing that video games can be a sport. Nope. Even though it is a good idea to lump in esports when you talk about sports and you do these sports programmings a la what Disney did, that is not what they did. You know your program block is weak when you're essentially rerunning Rocket Power as a core part of your lineup. In fact, a lot of the programming was just gaming shows. And again, Rocket Power, I get it, it's like sports, but come on. The industry of trying to get you in school fit is huge and on the surface has great intentions. You want to start the habit of being active sooner than later, of course. And Nickelodeon has integrated sports content into their programming at a secondary priority, if that. You're never gonna see sports overtake SpongeBob, The Loud House, Henry Danger, or any of that, because Nickelodeon knows that those sports-oriented shows don't bring in the ratings. So they save the best for one day, the Worldwide Day of Play.
Too fast! How could you even tell what's on? I can tell.
AKA the Worldwide Day of Cartoon Network, because this is such a flawed system. Now, while to many of us, when this day comes, we see this graphic saying basically all of the networks revolving around Nickelodeon are basically off, encouraging you to, go out and play for one day. What we don't see is that Nickelodeon is on tour all summer, going through different cities encouraging children to play. And the last day of that tour is the Worldwide Day of Play, where Nickelodeon leans on the parents to get their kids off of television and to go outside and basically be active. Our summer events each year have helped to magnify our Worldwide Day of Play initiative, connecting us with new partners and communities across the country that work to encourage kids and families to seek out active play, said Marva Smalls, Executive Vice President of Public Affairs and Chief of Staff, Nickelodeon Group. We're proud to be able to launch another summer-long campaign, teaming up with the exceptional organizations to celebrate kids' love of play while showcasing its importance to their daily lives. This is an outdated initiative, especially considering that later in the article, the only events that they had were in Phoenix, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Oakland, and Brooklyn. Assuming they did more, this doesn't even scratch the surface of what you would expect a Worldwide Day of Play to lead up to. Especially in today's age, we have so many more electronics around the house that there's actually a chance we might just miss the Worldwide Day of Play. And if we do see it, we'll just play something else. Hell, I don't even remember last year's one. Did it even happen? That must have been like deep into work, or basically doing other things. Now, I am not saying that Nickelodeon should stop working with the NFL or stop with the Worldwide Day of Play initiative. I'm saying that they need to adapt to how kids think and feel today, not in 2004 when they started it. You want elementary or middle school me to get into sports? Bring your crew to my school. I want an event that'll take me out of class for a select period of time. Sure, it's not going to convert everyone into sports fans or even NFL fans, but the idea of being hands-on with Nickelodeon can inspire someone. You never know. It'll definitely be a lot more impactful than
turn off your TV. Shut down your computer. Put down that cell phone. Yes, you.
Make cartoons that incorporate sports with a bigger focus and budget with some type of effort. Actually play Sweet Victory at the halftime show. These are things that would be cool. Not just throwing together another NFL partnered show and expecting people to convert because we're already on the channel. I understand that Nickelodeon can't go to every single school, and an NFL sports cartoon won't have the potential profits as a comedy live action show. But when you extend your hand and you prove that there are cool things in the world of sports the right way, you might excite someone, you might excite a child, and get them to think that sports are more than what they are. Not every kid has an environment where they can simply go outside. Not every kid has friends that they can kick a soccer ball around with. Not every kid is confident in their own body to think that they can keep up with the other kids. These are things that are hard to fix, yes, but at the very least, if you show that you care about any of these issues, it'd mean a lot more than just slapping together another sports thing and pretending like you're the leader in getting kids to be active because you put a graphic up and no one else does. I'm not taking anything away from the in-person activities done by Nickelodeon or the NFL, but I think allocating those resources there is a much better thing to do than a telecast. In fact, double down on those in-person things. I appreciate the initiative of making the next generation healthier than the former, but take some advice from your own mission statement. If you want kids to get active, then take an active part in their lives. Special thanks to the supporters of April, and until next time, take care. Alpha out.